What?
Red 7!
I don't know what Red 7 means.
Hot route!
I don't. What is hot route?
Will you just go stand on the other side, please?
Down!
Come on.
Ready! Down! Set! Hut! 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 Hut!
Hit me! Booyah! That's what we call a sacked lunch. Nom, 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 nom.
It's time for the Soonerscoop.com postgame show presented by Eskridge Lexus in Oklahoma City. Eskridge Lexus is the official travel partner of Soonerscoop.com podcasts. Now, here's your road crew, Carrie, Eddie, and Bob, wrapping up all the action and reaction from this week's game.
All right, welcome back. It is the Eskridge Lexus postgame podcast, and I'm sorry to say it is not going to be a cheery one. As the Sooners fall in Bedlam, the final Bedlam as we know it, 27-24. It was a shit show. I mean, it was, I was just talking to Gabe and texting he and Jared, and he asked me the question, do you think that the defense played well enough to win? And I absolutely do. I mean, all 10 of Oklahoma State points came in the second half, all off of turnovers. So Sooners shot themselves in the foot time and time again. I'm sure, a lot of you were out there like me and my friends that were texting, like, OU is just lucky to be in this thing, as bad as it was. And, we'll welcome in now Eddie Radosevich and George Stoya, who are inside Boone Pickens Stadium still as we tape the podcast. And I know you guys have done your instant reaction. Did catch a little bit of that. But you guys were there, so it probably is even more of a strong feeling than those of us that were watching it at home. And seeing the fans rush the field after the game being a common occurrence now 2 games in a row for the Sooners.
Inexplicable, inexcusable, undisciplined, both players and coaches. It's just, it was a shit show, Gary. I mean, I don't even know where you begin.
It's fucking embarrassing. That's what it is.
It's just this is now 2 consecutive weeks where you are in position to go win a football game in the fourth quarter, and they weren't able to do it. And I think that there are some larger questions that are being asked of the program right now, just kind of the direction things are going. And I don't really have an answer for anybody, Carrie. I think that offensively, they are just so inconsistent that's obviously the first place to start. The turnovers were killer. They make stupid ass mistakes, and they're just not good enough to get away with some of the stuff that they probably were able to get away with at the beginning of the year, and Oklahoma State made them pay today.
Here's one thing that strikes me just with your opening comments, and the offense we've talked about, been disjointed, been inconsistent. Today was one of those days where they at times were really coming together offensively, and then Oklahoma State would fake an injury, and then they'd take a timeout and they'd come back and they'd lose their momentum. It is an offense without any type of an attitude whatsoever. They're very much front runners. When things are going well, everybody's happy, everybody's playing well. When they face a little adversity, now Dylan Gabriel made some great third down passes today. I don't want to take away from some of the good play that was out there. But to me, it starts with the running back position, and that has been botched so much. I mean, you look at Oklahoma State. They were a terrible football team because they were trying to play. They were indecisive in personnel on offense, especially with their quarterback. They didn't play Ollie Gordon at first like they needed to. OU has never really settled on that running back position. And, guys, how many OU teams in the past have we seen where, okay, you have a Samaje Perine, you have a Joe Mixon, they're interchangeable. You can put them in there at any time. You have a Kennedy Brooks, and you have a Trey Sermon, and you have this guy. Or you lose all your running backs, and you go to Iowa State, and Dimitri Flowers is your starting running back, and you find a way to survive because the offensive line was playing well. Guys, I think we have to kind of face this offensive line has not played well enough for this offense to be consistent in the run game this year.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I thought they ran the ball pretty well at times today, and I don't think they lack talent there. I thought Gavin Sawchuk played a really good game.
But it's not about a 64-yarder here or a 29-yard touchdown there. It's just the consistency of it. I mean, you can look at
Gary, what the fuck are we talking about? The play calling is dog shit. That's what it comes down to. It's not about them running the football or the offensive line not coming together. The offensive line was fine today. The running backs were fine today. It comes down to dumbass calls on 4th and 5. You're running a fucking rollout to Drake Stoops, who's 2 yards short of the goddamn first down line. What the fuck are they doing?
George
has set a record for F-bombs already. And I mean,
it's so mad. And Gary, it's little things. Like, go back to the first quarter. You kind of have survived that first knockout punch. You're down 7-0. You tie the game 7-7. You get a big play from Nick Anderson, and you're running a direct snap, which Brent Venables did say after the game that wasn't intended to go to Javonte Barnes.
But why is Javonte Barnes in the game?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome message board poster George Stoya to the program.
It's just Gary. I've just reached I'm also trying to. The Wi-Fi sucks and my computer's being really slow here, so I'm just pissed off. But it just, I don't know. It's just
stay off the corner, damn it. I mean, actually, maybe you need to go on the corner so you can just see. It's like when I spend the entire day on the Scoop account, all the crazy. I'm just, my mind is numb. Like, I've dealt with so many people saying so many things, fire so many people, or it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. Like, you can't say anything without someone saying you're stupid, you're full of shit, you don't know what you're talking. Like, all I said was it was a first down, sir. Like, it's just like everyone is out there trying to figure this thing out, and the answers aren't so easy.
I think the scariest part too, and we talked about this in the instant reaction, Carrie. I don't think that the head guy has an answer right now for what's going on, for why everything is continuing to kind of trickle down and basically ruin your entire season. I mean, the last 2 weeks, Oklahoma season has come to an end. I know that they have 3 games left and all that other bullshit about getting to a 10-win season. If you win your last 3, it's a disappointment.
I mean, it is. I mean, look, but at the same time, go back. I mean, they got in the college football conversation. This is still a team that's 6-7 last year. This team, I think they learned enough in the offseason and how to play harder and how to actually compete at a higher level. But let's face it, when they beat Texas, they reverted. They regressed as a team. And I think the mentality changed. And I think all of a sudden they thought we've made it. When all that stuff that happened last year when they went 6-7 has crept back into the program over the last 3 weeks, and not so much today, because today wasn't just I know you guys keep calling it a shit show. They lost by 3 to a team that's tied for the lead in the conference right now. So, I mean, Oklahoma State, in the game plan they had against Ollie Gordon, it was good. It's just that Alan Bowman started out the game like 12 of 14 for 150 yards, or I was tracking it all game. I don't know exactly. It was 12 of 14 for like 127 or something like that in the first quarter. And then he went like 4 of 15 or something after. Like, they started to figure that out. Like, the defense was good enough to win today, but the 35 yards and penalties, one of them being on the head coach, I mean, you had to know that you're going to get fucked in this conference at some point by the referees, and that happened today. That absolutely happened today. But you have to be better than that. In past Oklahoma teams, they were better than that. This one isn't. They don't have the mentality to actually go after and prosper when they're up. They cannot score a touchdown when they're up by 7 points. They just can't do it. Their mentality is so weak offensively, they don't have a killer instinct.
They're not good enough. They're not good enough.
Here's the other thing. This is the best defense OU's had in a decade, I firmly believe that. The stops they came up with today, and here's the frustrating part, they're just pissing it away.
Yeah.
Because the offense, and here's the thing, the offense, they averaged 8 yards of play today. They moved the ball well at times. They did a lot of things. Things were open. They ran the ball. They threw it down the field. And then they just don't get aggressive to put games away. It's just like Carrie said a week ago. They lack the killer instinct to put teams away. And that's been an issue for Jeff Levy since the moment he got to Oklahoma. It was the same problem last year. Brent Venables is now 2-7 in his tenure in 1-score games. That's awful. And
That's
that
a
comes
good
down,
stat.
Yeah, 2-7. That comes down
they're
to
they're not good enough in these close games to make the mistakes that they continually fucking make every week.
It's undisciplined shit. It's a bad snap. It's a 15-yard penalty by the damn head coach. It's all the pre-snap penalties today were freaking ridiculous. I mean, my God, Jalil Farouk had 2 pre-snap penalties. Drake Stoops had one. You're having wide receivers jump offside. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Farouk lined up offside on one of them. Who was it? Was it Kendall Dolby that did that in Kansas? There was a defensive back that lined up.
I get it. You can blame the players for that, but that shit comes down to coaching too. That shit that has to be ingrained in their head in practice leading up to the games, all that shit. All of the penalty shit, the special teams miscues, that is coaching.
Here's the thing. A lot of those penalties you're talking about are on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you didn't see, you saw a pretty disciplined Trace Ford today. You didn't. I mean, he made a big play on one of the Ollie Gordon, 4th down plays. He didn't have a great day, but I mean, he's a guy you would expect. Okay, he's probably going to get a personal foul sometime in this game. Like, we know. I mean, that's Brent's side of the football, and let's not act like that when you take the performance of the defense and the performance of the offense, it is much closer to being capable than it has been over the last 5 years, where you might have had the world's best offense, but you might have had the world's worst defense. Like, I know. I mean, I'm sitting here watching USC right now.
I know that the defense played well too, but you still gave up a 97-yard touchdown drive to lose the game.
Yeah, because it started with 35 yards of penalties.
Yeah,
one on the head coach.
It's true.
And the call on Vickers was bullshit, in my opinion. Also, Stoops got hosed.
Yeah, he got
well, and they basically threw that. They gave him no grace on that. He stepped out and said he pushed him mode, and he threw the flag immediately.
But here's the thing: it's 3rd and 13 because they get they call a bad call on first down, and then they get the damn pre-snap penalty on 2nd down, and all of a sudden you're in 3rd and long because you're a bunch of dumbasses. I mean, it's just. I don't know. I'm sorry. I need to take.
I think that your frustrations are being communicated rather well.
And I don't think. Here's the other thing: is it's going to sting for the fan base losing OSU the last Bedlam. I'm sure it's going to sting.
Sure,
but to me,
it's so much bigger. It's bigger than just this game.
I don't give a shit. They could have lost to whoever today. But the problem is now all of a sudden you're questioning the direction of this thing because they're the most penalized team in the Big 12. And it's not because the Big 12 is out to get Oklahoma. It's because Oklahoma just doesn't make the right.
Because Tyler Guyton always jumps offside every game.
Yes. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, and then you have.
There were so many opportunities in the third quarter carry that all you got to do is put a drive together. All of a sudden, you're up by 11. Everybody can take a deep breath, and they just don't have that killer instinct. They can't put a drive together to put teams away.
And I don't know if it's I think Jeff Levy is to blame. Dylan Gabriel, I thought played okay. He missed though on some throws that should have been touchdowns. And
Nick Anderson dropped a pass that was perfectly thrown to him.
So I don't know. And it's like some people are like, well, Jackson Arnold will fix a lot of it. I don't buy that shit. I mean, it's a lot of bigger issues than that.
Don't let him drink. All right, Eddie. Keep him away from the beer.
He's not going to kill us on the way back to Oklahoma City tonight. I don't think.
It's just frustrating, man. It's even like my OSU buddies are texting me right now, and they're like, "Man, I can't believe OU let us win that game." Yeah, I mean that's the way it is. Like it's unbelievable.
Well, look,
there were so many moments too, whether it be the 4th down stops, the Billy Bowman interception. Like Oklahoma's creating turnovers in the 4th quarter. And you're giving the ball back to an offense at the 50-yard line that it's not good enough.
Well, let's look at it this way, too. Like, I think every Oklahoma State fan would say, damn, Alan Bowman is our quarterback. He had a great day today. He still got outpassed by Dylan Gabriel. He didn't throw into double coverage and throw an interception today. That was a problem. But he still, Dylan Gabriel still had higher completion percentage than him as well. I mean, like, I don't know that you can really say that, like you guys are saying, Dylan Gabriel, if you want to go down the list and say what are the problems, it's not as much on the players except for some drops here or there.
Oklahoma has the talent. I am not afraid to say that Oklahoma is a more talented team than Oklahoma State and Kansas the last 2 weeks. Yeah. There's no question about it. But they are not the better team because they make the dumb mistakes. I mean, you mentioned it. Alan Bowman was really good today. He also didn't throw into double coverage like Dylan Gabriel did.
Down.
Yeah.
To your shortest wide receiver on the field. I know he's the fastest, but he's not going to go up and get that ball. Brennan Thompson's not going to go up and get that. And it's on first down. Like, it's just every mistake that they make, it seems like it's magnified. And they never recover. They're never able to get their head above water.
We tend, and the fans, and we and the fans both do this, we tend to act like a quarterback can never make a mistake. Caleb Williams fumbled the football inside his own 15-yard line to give Washington State a score before halftime, like just screwing around. Like, quarterbacks make mistakes. It just, like, and we've seen Dylan Gabriel, what was that Cincinnati play where he, like, threw it backwards, like, panicked, and it ended up luckily going out of bounds. And, I mean, that was a total panic throw into double coverage today. He had two defenders, bearing down on him, and he just threw it up for grabs because he didn't know what else to do. Like, that happens with most quarterbacks. I mean, I saw Michael Penix do that a little bit against Arizona State, too.
How do you even explain the Andrew Rain snap situation? Like, that, in that moment, they're damn lucky that it was a 6-point game after the fumble. I mean, Oklahoma State easily could have gone in and scored.
Almost a miracle.
The game's really, truly over. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
Well, he thought that he clapped and he didn't clap. And I know after the game, he was broken down emotionally because he blamed himself for why they lost that game.
We've got a trash bin. We got a trash bin making a lot of noise.
To be rather loud. If we can just bear with us for a couple seconds here.
Well,
Terry.
just to keep George from dropping any more F-bombs, maybe we need a trash can to come through for a little bit.
I need a beer. That's what I need.
Oh man, it's almost confusing the lengths that this group goes to shoot themselves in the foot. And I don't know how they're going to get this thing turned around. I really don't.
Well, they're going to have to, and look, I understand the fans right now, they want to get rid of Jeff Lebby. There's a lot of fans who say, okay, Venable's time is up. And look, I think everybody, I don't even know that this needs to be acknowledged, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's a lot of goods that's happened in this program over the last year and a half. And recruiting wise, both offensively and defensively, you've got this future lined up with Jeff Lebby, with first Kevin Sperry, who's still in high school, and then Jackson Arnold. I mean, they're going to be in good position at the quarterback position. I don't think firing is. I don't think it's rational thought right now, but things need to happen. Things need to change. I think, guys, just the insistence on the hurry up, that's not going to be a weapon for you when teams like Oklahoma State fake injuries every 4 plays. Once you get it going down the field quickly, the other team's going to be able to kill your momentum legally.
It's almost like, Gary, they run the hurry up because that's their way of like trying to catch the defense off guard instead of just having a good play design.
It goes back to all of my problems with Lebby. It's like trying to be too cute, and hurry up to me is a gimmick. I mean, if you are a really good football team, you should be able to stand out there and do check with me. You should be able to just snap it directly. You should use tempo sometimes. It's like the only trick in Jeff Lebby's bag to take advantage of another defense is just go fast. Not scheming, not motion, not doing something. Like, there was a play tonight that Lincoln, I hate giving him credit, but Lincoln Riley ran this brilliant flea flicker tonight where they handed it off to Zachariah Branch. I've never seen anybody run this before. They handed it off like a jet sweep. He stops and pretends like he's going to go back against the grain and heads in the other direction. And as he runs by Caleb Williams, he flips the ball back. So he ran from behind center to the sideline and then back to Caleb Williams, flipped the ball to him, and the guy was wide open 40 yards downfield. Instant touchdown. Like, that's a little trickery stuff you don't see every day. But it's like, Your whole offense can't be based on that type of shit.
Yeah, sure. I just, here's my question, guys, and this goes back to big picture here. If you gave Brent Venables truth serum, do you think he'd admit that the offense is the problem right now? Because I still think he gets up there and he's like, well, the defense could have done this, this, and this. And I'm like, dude, you don't realize that your offense is costing you games. Do you think he has?
I think he has to. I think he has to.
He does. He does.
Has to be able to realize that. And I think that there was a level of frustration in the press conference after the game that he did realize that, like, it's just, they're so fucking undisciplined. I don't understand how they're so goddamn undisciplined. That's the one thing when Brent Venables was hired that you thought, okay, they're going to be able to get discipline within this program. They've been better, but over the last couple of weeks, they've been worse at it.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be again, this is a truth serum deal. You would have to ask guys like Tyler Guyton, hey, does having a different person next to you all the time affect, snap counts and things like that? Like, calls, getting them. I mean, offensive linemen, they have to get their shit straight before the snap, just like the quarterback does with what's going on in the secondary and what's in the box and stuff like that. I just think there's too much going on that is not just, hey, here's what we do really well. This is like, it used to say, like, Marty Schottenheimer would run the same play over and over like 25 times in practice. Like, he wanted them to be good at a few things that were their bread and butter, and they could run it anytime they needed it. It's just like the tush push with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, they have some things that they go to when they really need to get something done. I don't know that OU's ever developed that type of consistency with their offense. Like, okay, we're going to run this play. I mean, it seemed like they figured it out with Drake Stoops today, but outside of that, they didn't have anything else. I mean, Jalil Farouk made some nice plays, but he also, like you said, was offsides, was part of the inconsistency problems. It's chaotic, and it's not at all. It's not at all a finished product or even a good product.
Harry, that's a good way to put the offense right now. It's just chaotic. It doesn't seem like they have any type of rhythm, and when they do get in rhythm, they find ways to shoot themselves in the foot. It's actually kind of a masterpiece when you think about it, just how poorly they go through some spells at times. And then on the flip side of it, they put some really good drives together. And then the other thing that didn't end up coming back and costing them today, it's fucking inexcusable what happened right before halftime and not using a timeout.
And then it allowed Oklahoma State to take that final timeout and use it for a Hail Mary.
That's the shit that makes me think this thing is not going in the right direction.
It's like there are a bunch of very good football coaches on Oklahoma sidelines. How do they not realize that that's what Oklahoma State's going to do?
Yeah, but it was, I mean, I'll admit it. I sat there and was like, oh, shit, they're not taking the timeout, so that means they're going to be able to run one last play.
Yeah.
But I was thinking through that, like, it didn't dawn on me until I noticed that's what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Now I'm not getting paid $7 million to make coaching decisions, so
it's those little things that it makes me question. It makes me question what's going on in the grand scheme of things.
Well, and it keeps that question continues to come up in various ways, and that's what's distressful.
Yeah, it is. And they have great recruits coming in. They have a great recruiting class coming in. But we've been preaching it almost every week that a kicker's a liability. And they keep just running Zach Schmidt out there. Maybe they don't have anybody else that can kick
Well, remember, that was another disaster today is before that kick, they ran a play that went for a 6-yard loss. What was that, a Drake Stoops throw behind the line of scrimmage?
Yes. Again, what are you doing? Throw the ball down the field. They're not. Their secondary is not any good.
I'm so sick and tired of seeing them play the game horizontally. Like, I know that that's what Levy wants to be able to do. They want to have some good receivers out on the outside being able to block, get some easy gains. But I am so goddamn sick of seeing them throw the ball from side to side instead of down the field.
Well, I thought they did that more today, and some people would say, well, why do you throw it 30 yards down the field on third and 4? Which that's a valid criticism, but
Sure.
At the same time, the pass I'm thinking of was the one early to Farouk that was defensed really well, and it was a good enough pass. Although, as soon as I tweeted that out, everybody was like, Sawchuk was wide open over the middle and he missed him. So I'll have to go back and look at that. But I don't know. It's just, it is. I mean, to me, it is the offense. And look, we've been through the Lincoln Riley era where it was all offense, and either the Mike Stoops or the Alex Grinch, where the defense isn't good enough. And you always look, it's an offensive coach. He doesn't understand defense. He has to leave it up to those guys to figure it out because he's not the guy to do it. He's the offensive coordinator. Well, now you're in a very similar situation. You have a defensive coordinator as your head coach. The offense isn't as good as people know it could be. And yet, Brent Venables, I mean, he can have some input on what they should be doing and why can't they do it this way or that way, but ultimately, he's not the one designing how the offense runs.
No, but he can also get in Jeff Levy's ass and be like, what are you, like, stop doing this dumb shit and throwing it out, on the screen passes.
I don't think that happens in the offices. I don't think Brent goes and just has a yelling.
I'm sure he doesn't, but
Jeff
maybe
Levy.
he should, is what I'm saying.
The thing that really truly scares me a little bit is it doesn't seem like they have any answers for why things are going wrong.
There was a lot of I don't knows after the game.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel was asked after the game if he thinks that this group can basically get it together and win your final 3 games of the season, and his answer was, "We'll see."
I hate to be this guy.
Let me ask you this real quick, because you guys, I know a lot of people brought it up when they saw the notebook that you put up, Eddie, and I think a lot of the comments in the game day preview, but fans notice it. I notice it. It's like, have you not seen a change in demeanor of Dylan Gabriel a little bit, like almost like he doesn't know, or he's lost some confidence in what this offense has been or could be?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. And I think it's a very normal reaction when you're running the plays that they are. Like when you're basically given the tools, it's like all the tools are broken halfway. That might be a terrible analogy. It is a terrible analogy.
Honestly,
It's the land of misfit toys or whatever. Is that what it is?
It's like they're being asked to fix a car with
Duct tape?
shit that you don't fix a car with, almost.
Duct tape.
Also, I love Dylan.
I guess I'll try to use this.
I love Dylan. I think he's a good dude. He's done a lot of good stuff at Oklahoma. He'll always be remembered for OU Texas. And I know I said earlier that Jackson Arnold doesn't fix any of this. I am getting to the point, though, now that they are out of the playoff race and possibly the Big 12 championship race, which most likely they are.
Oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. I can feel it.
Would you start playing Jackson Arnold? Maybe you don't start him, but I'd start playing Jackson Arnold a little bit.
That you cannot do that, George. I mean, you're so cutthroat tonight. They brought Dylan. If they didn't have Dylan Gabriel didn't come in here 2 years ago, they would have been stuck with Davis Bevel as a quarterback. They're not going to fuck him over like that. They're just not going to.
I'm not saying
you're not being
should.
realistic.
I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Like, the future is Jackson Arnold. He hasn't had any snaps.
There is no way in hell. And he's George, he had 344 yards passing. The one bad thing that he did was throw into double coverage and got an interception today. You can win with Dylan Gabriel.
This season's over.
It's so depressing. It's so depressing. It's inexcusable. Like, I can get over teams not going out there and just not being good enough. It just feels like they create so many problems for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tough part to swallow.
And the tough part is they create their own problems, which means it's very correctable. It's the same thing we said last week. It's like everything they're doing is fixable. Like, they can go in and be like, oh, we should probably stop doing that, or maybe we shouldn't jump off sides, or we shouldn't have pre-snap penalties and all this bullshit. And it's like, that's the frustrating part. It's not that they're a bad football team or not talented, right? It's not like they're throwing guys out there that aren't good football players. They're just dumb.
Do you remember how many years it was that Oklahoma just never lost back-to-back weeks? It just never happened under Bobby.
Yeah, it happened every year under Bobby. Never lost back-to-back games.
ever. And now it's just like, it's almost like it's a sickness within the program that it's like, yeah. And I'm not saying that the players don't care. They do. I mean, talking to the players after the game, crushed. I think they were absolutely crushed. But there was like this thing that you were always able to fall back on. It's like, they're going to be able to figure this out. Right now, I don't know if they can figure it out. And that's a really, really concerning thing.
You know who can fix things? Our boys, Ed and Will Eskridge over at Eskridge Lexus.
Absolutely.
I had a scooper, a U40 listener, post-game podcast listener, hit me up, said, hey, my wife has been to Tulsa, Dallas. She cannot get the car that she wants. It's a special edition, and Ed took care of them. They called Ed, and he was able to get it for him. So they've got contacts all over the place. If inventory is limited on a model that you want, give Eskridge Lexus a call. Just go visit them at eskridgelexus.com. They've also got the new Lexus TX SUV. They're just coming in. It's the biggest SUV that they've ever built. Probably won't fit into my garage, but they are arriving now. The TX, the perfect family SUV for lugging all your stuff to the next sporting event, tailgate, or road trip. And if you mention that you are a Sooner Scoop subscriber, Eskridge Lexus will offer you a special discount on any new or even pre-owned vehicle. As always, they never have bogus extra charges like dock fees or force you to buy added accessories you really don't want. So call or visit eskridgelexus.com. Eskridge Lexus is the proud travel sponsor of Sooner Scoop. I know you guys wrote up in Eddie's today, I think, right?
Here's the other thing, Gary. Mm-hmm. We love Eskridge, by the way. Thank you for the ride. Why do they even put a tight end on the field?
Stogner was horrible early, but he did do some better things in the second half. But he wasn't blocking shit early on the screens that they were throwing out on the edge. He was getting beat left and right.
Indictment of the program that they cannot have a better tight end than Austin Stogner.
And guys, they recruited a bunch of guys. I mean, and they're just not good enough.
Or they're hurt. I mean, Caden Helms is hurt. Llewellyn, he doesn't even exist.
He tweeted during the game today, and he retweeted something. He retweeted to a Barstool Oklahoma tweet, and it got. And I saw somebody comment like, "I wonder how long before this is deleted." And when I went to it, it was deleted already.
Interesting. And how about Dalen Smothers gets in the game today?
I mean, it's just the whole running back thing is a perfect example. Eric, if we open these windows, we're jumping. If these windows can open, I'm going to jump from this press box.
Christ.
The whole running back thing is kind of a commentary on the entire season as a whole. It's just so maddening and so unexplainable that I have no idea who's going to be the guy that runs out there.
It's got to be Gavin Sawchuk moving forward, or Tawi. Tawi was banged up today.
What has happened to Javonte Barnes? Like, just in totality, like where did the guy go that flashed a year ago? He's gotten worse.
We haven't seen enough of him to really make that decision.
I've seen enough of him.
I mean, it's a good point, Kerry. And the reasons of why we haven't seen him, it's just, I don't get it. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. I know that like we're supposed to sit here and kind of explain things and give insight. I shrug my shoulders. I have no idea. And the fact that from what this team was and the performance that they put together at the Cotton Bowl, it's literally become kind of a joke now. Like I'm trying to think of the word. That was it was a dream. It was a dream what happened in the way that they played in Dallas and able to get out of there as bad as they played with special teams.
It is the one time in the Brent Venables era that OU played well in the final stretch of a game.
I think what you said earlier about 2-7 and 1-score games, if that's not the most like exclamation point of what this thing has been over 22 games, I don't know what is.
And they're damn near 0-9 if Texas gets the stop, and then if UCF converts the 2-point conversion.
Can I give you guys the best example of the difference between this offense and defense? If you're wondering, which one's hurting the team more, Kip Lewis had 15 tackles today. They were without their unquestioned best player on defense today. The guy, their quarterback of their defense, they were without him today. Kip Lewis came in there. He didn't back down for a second from Ollie Gordon. He laid a couple of licks on him. Ollie Gordon he probably won't be able to walk tomorrow with a thigh bruise. They beat the shit out of Ollie Gordon today. And a big part of it was because Kip Lewis came in there and was the best player on the field. The offense loses. The offense loses Andrell Anthony, and it sends the receiving core into a tailspin.
Yeah, you're right. It's just it's night and day, and that's why it's a mentality. The defense. Yeah. Brent has built a mentality in his defensive players that Jeff Lebby has not built in his offensive players. Yeah, I agree, and that's why there's still. Look. In terms of defensively, this thing is heading in the right direction. They're doing a lot of really good things. They've got a lot of really good players, great players coming in next year too, and down the line. It's just, the game management stuff is bad. The offense is bad. Like there's just so many things for this team that they have to overcome that I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. Like I can't sit here and be like firing Jeff Lebby. Like I don't know if that's the answer.
Here's something for Jeff Lebby to look in the mirror about. Everyone a year ago wanted Casey Dunn run out of Stillwater on a rail. He starts off terrible this year, but now Ollie Gordon has emerged. Alan Bowman had a great day today. Rashad Owens is a fantastic wide receiver, and they're down a lot of receivers. But I thought he used Brennan Presley really well today. And he's got a D3 guy in Leon Johnson III that was out there making plays.
Harry, when they were in the first half, when they're just picking OU apart through the air, were they just getting beat?
Everybody was in single coverage, and guys were getting a cushion, and they came out there. It was clear to me they came out there with the express purpose of making sure that Ollie Gordon didn't beat them. And I think the way that Casey Dunn called the game, he called it as if. Their receivers are out on an island. Let's attack them and see what we can do. And it worked immediately. So, but I know Josh was tweeting about it during the game. It's like, I don't care if Alan Bowman is having this success. I don't care if he's taking off and running for a touchdown. Let them keep doing this because eventually it'll catch up with Oklahoma State if Ollie Gordon is not the best player on the field and they're not using him. And it almost did.
OSU scored 27 points. 10 of them came off of OU turnovers.
And that was all in the second half.
Yeah.
That's the only way they scored in the second half was OU turnovers.
It's just flat out.
The only thing that you can do is laugh. It's inexplicable and borderline unexplainable. The depths that they've gone to create problems for themselves. I feel like I'm a broken record. I have nothing else to say, though. It's concerning. It's really, really concerning.
Well, and now you're going to get to find out if this team is falling apart because you're going to play West Virginia. You're going to play BYU.
Which, by the way, West Virginia is beating the shit out of BYU right now, 37-30.
BYU, I don't think they're very good, or they've had some major injuries.
What the hell? This team could lose to anybody. West Virginia could come in and kick their ass next week. It would not surprise me.
It will be a difficult game to win.
It's going to be a really tough turnaround going from the disappointment of what this was today and turning around and having to be happy, energetic, physical next Saturday.
By the way, the Big 12, we didn't talk about this before. The Big 12 did OU no favors. The last two opponents they had are coming off of bye weeks, Kansas and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, but you knew that you weren't going to get any breaks this year.
Oklahoma State's not coming off a bye. They played Cincinnati last week.
Oh, that's right. I don't know. Yeah, they did. Mike Gundy said something about coming off the bye, this and that. So I missed it.
It felt like they were coming off of a bye.
No one, including myself, doesn't want to hear what I'm about to say. But if Texas slips up once and OU wins out, OU's going to make the Big 12 championship game, I'm pretty sure, and play Oklahoma State.
George, you can't drop that many F-bombs in in a podcast and then
I
try and
know
give
nobody
people
wants
hope.
to- I'm just saying, like if these players want any sort of motivation,
I mean, like, we need to get ESPN
extreme
stats and info on this because you've done some things tonight that have never been done on any Sooner Scoop podcast. And then to try and provide hope at the same time, no one will ever beat that statistic.
I'm just in a really bad place. It's just, I'm just all over
You need to
right
ride.
now.
You need to ride. Like, get him a pillow. Let him be in the back seat, Eddie, when he drives home.
I think some like
we'll be
Whataburgers.
going with the indica on the way home.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, do that after the Whataburger drive-through. Don't fall asleep in the Whataburger drive. That's a very famous thing that happens in Stillwater.
Yeah, I'm kidding. It truly is to the point. Like, I'm not so much mad as I am just disappointed with the overall product right now. And
Especially given where it was, man. Like,
yeah, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about this team being a part of a college football playoff. We were talking about them being.
and I still think they're good enough. Like, I think that they're
Not good enough, George.
No. What I meant by that is, like, talent-wise, are they good? I think that they have talent. I think that they're not good enough because they make dumb mistakes.
George, let me ask you a question. Are you more
They're talented
upset?
enough to win this conference.
Are you more upset that OU is not playing well, or that they're definitely going to be affecting your YouTube views moving forward?
YouTube views. I'm all about the company.
Good.
All about the company. And you know, the bowl trip's going to suck. Like, I don't want to go to San Antonio or Orlando.
Oh, Orlando.
That's probably where they're going to end up, is San Antonio or Orlando.
We're not paying $4,000 for Scoop to cover a bowl game in Orlando. A meaning, no meaning game. My God.
I'll watch from TV. I don't give a shit.
I hate to put it on one play, but it's just, I keep going back to the Drake Stoops no call. And I know that, like, there are so many plays within a game that could have changed it. How does he got tackled?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just a total screw job by the Big 12. I mean, I've been joking about, George planting conspiracy theories, but there's no need to joke about it. It's happening. Like, you can't convince me that it's happening to some degree. I mean, the quick trigger on the Venables penalty, the 15-yarder, then that.
I've seen coaches do a lot more, and
That was
flag.
unbelievable. The one on Venables was unbelievable. I could not believe, because I think we know Brent well enough. He didn't run up and
he didn't call him a cocksucker or anything like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But again, there's so many other things that Oklahoma did to themselves on Saturday. I'm not pointing to that directly and saying that's the reason that they lost. But my God, you're going to have first and goal at the 2-yard line if that's called. I think there's a pretty good chance OU wins the game.
And as many times as I've seen that, like, if he doesn't grab him and turn him around like that, he's probably in bounds and catches that pass. Like, his foot is probably not, and body is. It traveled at least a yard or two by the force of being yanked around like that.
Go watch my video.
Oh, I saw you have great video. That's a great angle.
Catches the ball.
Well, what happened was he caught it, but then it went between his legs, so he never really had firm control of it.
But again, I go back to the couple possessions in the third quarter. You're up by 4. You have opportunity to not necessarily go put the game away, but you have opportunity to go build a lead, to really kind of start putting the foot on the throat. And they just don't have the killer instinct. They don't have the ability to run away with a game. We saw it in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. We saw it last week 2 weeks ago against Central Florida. We saw it against Kansas. You had opportunities within that game to really kind of make an emphatic statement, and they just don't do it. And not only do they not do it, it's almost like they say, no, thank you. It's like they just turn it completely down.
Well, it's almost like it becomes an anxiety, a kind of anxiety. I mean, it's like, oh, we're in a position to win this game, but if we don't do it, we're going to lose. Like, not focusing so much on what do we do to take this game from them. It's more like, can we make this happen?
I mean, the first possession there in the fourth quarter after the Billy Bowman interception, you have the ball on the plus side of the field, and all you probably really need to do is go down and score. Because think about the gut punch that would have been to go from OSU seemingly moving the football to Ollie Gordon throwing in an interception, and you shit it away.
They needed one touchdown. They needed one touchdown. They had 5 possessions to do it, and they went, I believe,
God damn, it was 5.
Turnover on downs.
They're allergic to prosperity offensively. They just
turnover on downs, fumble, punt, fumble, and then turnover on downs.
Were you okay with them kicking the field goal on the 4th and 12, Gary, to cut it to a 3-point game?
What was it, 4th and 13?
It was 4th and 12.
Yeah,
But
because
the
way the defense was playing, I was okay with it.
Sure.
I agree. They had 3 timeouts.
Sure.
Yes.
It was.
I thought in the moment, I thought it was really stupid. Now you make the field goal, you cut it to 3.
They got the ball back with 1:49.
Yeah,
went to timeout.
It was a difference between being down by 6 or being down by 7.
Okay, I was just
shit. They damn near if they. I thought when Stoops caught the first ball in that final drive, I was like, they're going to go down.
I think everybody thought, OU Texas game within shouting distance. You get 20 yards to begin the drive, and then it just kind of went all the shit.
I just still can't believe they rolled Dylan Gabriel out. They hadn't done that all game where they roll him out. He has one option.
Yeah, and they rolled him against his body, right? They rolled him left, so he's throwing with his left arm, which is a much more difficult throw. Or I'm sorry, that's an easier throw than if they rolled him right.
Yeah, I know. But it was to the short side of the field, and it's just like Dylan had been really good at picking apart the defense when he just sits in the pocket.
Yeah.
I also thought they should have called a timeout there before and just settled everyone down because the clock was running. Everyone was anxious. Like, I would have called a timeout, reset, go.
Well, it was also like today they made a conscious effort to not run Dylan Gabriel, which has been one of the better parts of their offense.
Yeah. USC is just getting gashed right now.
That doesn't even.
That's
make me
USC. That's what they do. They get gashed. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be a rough week. We totally get it. We totally get that you're frustrated. It
is what it is. I mean, it really is.
But it just sucks for us too, because it's like, I had all these great story ideas, write on these. Nobody wants to read that bullshit. Nobody wants to read the nice puff piece on whoever. They want to know why the hell Jeff Levy's still employed.
No, it does. I mean, this makes your job difficult. And because that's all the fans want to hear about, they're not going to let us talk to Jeff Levy. They're not going to let us talk to younger players.
No.
They're going to barricade themselves in the Switzer Center as much as they possibly can.
People might come and
little pitchfork action.
Are you
torches.
saying there should be an insurrection at the Switzer Center?
I think there should be, probably. I'll lead the charge.
You've gone a little far in this pod. We might have to suspend you.
This is why you hired me, Gary.
Well, what I hired you for, you've just said that you can't do, so...
That's true. That's true. I can't wait to talk to my dad after this game. I know he's just
at least you've gotten out a lot of the curse words in your system.
Yeah. I already talked to my dad. He's not happy. He's not happy.
No one's going to be happy. I mean, we understand it. Like, we're not trying to sugarcoat things. We're not going to tell you you're crazy if you want to make changes. It's just the way it goes. We understand it.
Also, the Thunder got screwed too. NBA's rigged.
That was your fault for being there.
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there that night. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't there on
Friday.
Friday.
Somebody else that was there.
Yeah,
all
just
right.
a shit weekend.
Yeah. Like you said, this is a difficult thing to talk about because we're just going to keep going in circles. I think we got most of the angst, most of the, it's out there. I'm sure people are going to comment on the message board about what we missed talking about. But really, I mean, everybody could have been better except for Kip Lewis today.
Accurate.
I thought Kobe McKenzie came in and played well. Jaron Canick, by the way, we didn't even talk about him. He had a rough day.
Well, and it's another game that shows when certain people can't stay healthy, it really hurts this defense at time. And
also, Robert Spears Jennings came in and played really well for him today.
Gentry Williams, I mean, just him going down, it's just a killer. I mean, Kenai Walker does some good things, but you lose so much physicality on that defense when he's gone, and you lose coverability when he's gone, and it shows.
Yeah, he gets injured too much, but
he's probably going to have like shoulder surgery.
There's a lot of guys on defense that I thought Trace Ford played well. I mean, we could go through the list. It's just
it's not a night for stock up, stock down.
No.
Other than Kip Lewis, your stock is way up. And guess what? Guess what, Danny Stutsman? Guess what, Danny Stutsman? If you ever have a mistake ever for the rest of the season, everybody's going to be calling for him to take your job.
Well, I think Kip will start over Kanik moving forward. He should, at least.
I mean, Will's a different position, though. I don't know how well he knows it as a freshman.
Kip was playing the Will tonight. Kip played the Will, and Kobe and Jaron played the Mike.
Okay. Yeah, Kobe got quite a bit of play tonight.
Yeah.
I thought Woody Washington had a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, almost everybody on the defense.
Billy Bowman, came up with a huge play.
Yeah, I thought everybody on the defense played pretty well. I mean, they were.
I mean, it just goes to show you, like, Mike Gundy's not immune to stupid plays too. That Ollie Gordon pass. I mean, what a ridiculous play call.
To lose the game too. Yeah, OSU handed the game to OU. They handed it to them,
and they
several times. The 4th down and 1 stuff. I mean, my God, OU was fantastic there.
That game should have been over after Billy Bowman intercepted that pass.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. I'm satisfied. I'm not going to edit this pod because there's too many F-bombs. I'm just going to have to tell people this is not safe for your children.
My mom's going to be pissed, but that's okay.
Okay. All right. I don't know what else to say.
I don't got anything.
I'm going to let you guys get in the car, get home. If you see Teabag around, don't let him taunt you. Just punch him in the face.
I will.
You have my permission to just punch him straight in the face.
Sounds good.
It's a big target. You won't miss. All right. That's going to do it for the Eskridge Lexus post-game podcast. Remember, go to eskridgelexus.com. Check them out. Washington, as bad as USC is, they're not fans of prosperity either. They cannot take the bait they've been given. So, anyway, that's going to do it. Next week, West Virginia back at home. It's going to be a rough week, but we'll be here for it. We're not going anywhere. Just maybe, click on a podcast or a YouTube video and keep us from just completely going in the tank this next week. All right, that's going to do it. We'll be back again next week after the West Virginia game. We'll have a really big recruiting report with Josh McQuistion because he's been out in Orlando in hell at IMG. So be interesting to see what all we have. I know we had a lot of stuff from this weekend as well to get to and some commitments that we'll be going over. So Monday, YouTube recruiting wrap-up show with Josh McQuistion, and then we'll just get it going. The rest of the week, we'll see how it goes, see how many players we get to talk to this week, if it gets shut down. We're kind of expecting that with the way things are going. So until next time, you've been listening to the Eskridge Lexus post-game podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com.